news to the Biafrans and bad news to the one Nigerians. I know this may shock you, but here is the real deal. Please, I know many of you have been giving up for the America based on what is happening in Nigeria, and everyone was silent as if nothing is happening. Something is about to happen. It's about to go down on Nigeria. Based on the information available to us, the CDS, the Chief of Army Staff, come out and make this public to the Nigerians that this Boko Haram that have been unaliving the Nigerians for a decade, that they are just nothing but a prodigal son that needs to be repented. You see, what a country. That is why I keep telling you that this country called Nigeria is a crime against humanity. But here is the real deal. I thank the America for their quick response concerning what is coming to Nigeria. Nigeria is about to go down in the history of mankind. Please, my people, I want you to do one thing. This video that you're about to watch, don't watch it in a hurry. Watch this video and share this video, because what you're about to witness today is going to shock you. Yes, it's an amazing one to us, and it's a bad news to the Nigerians. Let's buckle up and see why this video is trending globally. Don't go anywhere. It's worth watching. Let's see.
I think one important thing to remember is that Christians are the most persecuted religious group on the planet. And it's been that way for many, many years. And there are more Christian martyrs right now, today, than there were at the very beginning of the church, where you would have massive persecutions. But that's happening right now. It's happening right now in Nigeria, and we have Nigerian speakers here. By the thousands, more Christians are targeted and murdered for their faith in Nigeria than anywhere else, all other countries combined. But it happens all across the world. We have cases at Alliance Defending Freedom involving missionaries being kicked out of countries like Turkey. We have cases of prisoners within Egypt who've been accused of blasphemy laws, and we work to eradicate blasphemy laws all across the world.
Talking about Operation Safe Corridor, so many people have asked that question: why do we need to rehabilitate criminals? They all should be killed because they kill people. Well, that may make sense. But even in the Bible, we heard about the prodigal son. If there was not that window for the man to come back, would they have come back? So the point is that these are Nigerians, mostly. And it's important for us to give them that window to repent if they want to, rather than pushing them to the extreme to say, okay, it's either we kill you or you continue with the adventure. I think it's important for us to make people understand, especially in the National Assembly, because as we speak now, everything about safe corridor is being driven by defense headquarters. And there's no part of the budget that says, okay, you should run Operation Safe Corridor. So, our honorable there, I'm only speaking to you to understand the importance of Safe Corridor, and that at some point we may come calling for your support.
We want to do two things. We want to thank President Trump. I see President Trump over there. We want to thank President Trump for bringing awareness to what is happening in Nigeria. We want to thank him for acting on Christmas Day against ISIS terror groups. But we want to call for more action, U.S. public support, awareness about what is happening in Nigeria. Christians, Muslims, people of all faith are being killed, but we believe that it is Christians that are being targeted because of their faith in Jesus. Let the United States population, there's a bill before Congress by Chris Smith and Riley Moore, Bill 7457. Call your Congress members to pass the bill. Pass the bill. Pass the bill. Pass the bill. We are calling on the Congress. Please, Speaker Johnson, act on the bill. Speaker Johnson, act on the bill. Speaker Johnson, pass the bill. Speaker Johnson, pass the bill. Speaker Johnson, pass the bill. Which bill? The Nigerian Religious Freedom and Accountability Act of 2026. In Nigeria, stop killing Christians. In Nigeria, stop killing Christians. in Nigeria. For those that are wondering, more than 11 million Nigerians have been driven from their homes because of their faith, because of their choice, whether they be Christians or Muslim. These terrorists are definitely targeting Christians, but they do kill Muslims as well who disagree with them. We are not here to discourage anyone from...
We continue our deep dive into Nigeria's foreign relations, and this time we're unpacking the details from the recently concluded €288 million grant package to Nigeria from the EU, as social media commentators yesterday highlighted an observation that the deal includes a clause to support the reintegration of repentant terrorists. Now, the information contained under initiatives on the European Commission website under Aid, Development, Cooperation and Fundamental Rights states that under governance, peace and security, the EU collaborates with Nigeria to promote stability and security by supporting democratic governance, inclusive participation of young people, women and people with disabilities, and fostering peace-building efforts. Key actions include promoting the reintegration of former combatants, including Boko Haram associates in Borno, Yobe and Adamawa states. Now, whilst this item sits amongst other clauses that relate to clean energy, migration, health and education, it is the clause that has generated conversation. So let's quickly look at the breakdown of this €288 million grant deal that was sealed last week. So out of the 288 million package, let's just look at the breakdown. We have an image of that. 50 million will support healthcare, manufacturing, a number of things. You can see them on the screen there. But 16 million has been said to be targeted towards strengthening migration, governance, and reintegration. So from that 288 million package, we're looking at 16 million going towards migration, governance, and reintegration of the so-called repentant combatants or Boko Haram associates. All right. Now, this document is, of course, from information retrieved from the Nigeria Agency of News. Let's look at reactions on social media before Dr. Abati gives us his input. Lanre said this document is 2021. At that time, there was a program called Operation Safe Corridor, and they were supporting. Now, just for context, the framework between the working relationship between EU and Nigeria is 2021 to 2027. So that tweet is correct, but doesn't reflect the fact that it's a period. Now let's go to the next tweet from Express, who said, before everyone jumps to conclusions, this isn't the EU saying let terrorists walk free. What they're referring to is a standard counter-insurgency approach called reintegration. It applies to people who surrender, are captured or defect, and then go through screening, deradicalization, and monitoring before being reintroduced into society. Nigeria is already doing this with Boko Haram defectors. The EU is just supporting that framework, not inventing something new. That said, people are right to feel uneasy about it. You can't talk about reintegration without also talking about justice for victims, accountability, and the very real fear communities have about letting former fighters back in. So yes, questioners, but let's at least understand what's actually being proposed instead of reducing it to, and I quote, they are bringing terrorists back. And the final tweet from Ade, the plan is to keep us in perpetual disarray so Africa may never rise above its current status. Dr. Abati, several issues emerging here, but the fundamentals being Nigeria's engagement with the rest of the world and how it's impacting the common man.
Okay, yeah. Let's start with the European Union. Now, after a fashion, you have development assistance being provided by many countries of the world, particularly in sub-Saharan Africa, not just Nigeria, be it Japan or China or Germany, but this one is EU. It covers Germany. The US, until Trump came second term and decided to reduce, some of those funding engagements and say, no, we'll rather focus more on trade rather than aid. Now, the issue here is that, those packages like this one, which is 2021 to 2027, they will have the items. But also, this grant giving countries, they also relate with the government in place, in power. And that's why I find the second person, the second tweet, ex-logistics or so, they called him, I find it more reasonable to say that, look, this does not mean they are going to say bring the terrorists back. You have an administration in place that is not talking about bringing terrorists back and giving them community attires as we had under the Buhari administration. You have a government that is talking about justice, about ensuring justice, particularly for the victims, ensuring justice also for the perpetrators. And we've seen a few instances where arrested, apprehended kidnappers and bandits and terrorists have been taken to court to a degree that we did not witness under the previous administration. However, we should just know that this thing called integration is even sanctioned, approved by the UN. They call it deradicalization, reintegration, and then rehabilitation. But it's a matter of state policy for any particular state to adopt this. However, the popular opinion in Nigeria is that Nigerians want those bandits, terrorists, as criminals. Mm-hmm. I think it was even under this administration that a definition was offered that these persons are criminals, mm-hmm, and they should be apprehended and brought to book. Look at the amount of distress, chaos, disruption that they cause in society. So if people take your children, as they did in Niger State, or they attack churches, as they have done in Ondo State and in other places like Plateau, then you bring them back, you put them in Ashwebi, as they call it, and you say, oh, these are persons that are worthy of reintegration. Experience has shown that these persons, are criminals, and they do not deserve any kind of, soft treatment. Mm-hmm. After all, there was even one state under the Buhari administration that arranged husbands for the women that were involved in banditry and arranged wives. Mm-hmm. Where did that lead Nigeria? So it's for each country to design what will work for it.
Oh boy. Jesus.
When everybody stand the war, they run. They burn everywhere here. Is able to stand.
Oh boy.
Hey, now that you have seen the end of the clip, what did you just see? Is this not the good news? Yes, I know it is a good news to the Biafrans, and it is a bad news to the Nigerian officials, the ancestors, the politicians who have been making life miserable using this so-called Boko Haram, the terrorists, the ISWIP, the Fulani jihadists, using them for their political interests. Yes, because the message is now clear to us that these people called Boko Haram are working hand to hand with the Nigerian government. And how long shall we continue burying our loved ones just for the interest of the politicians, and we say no to it? And that is why we are keep on advocating for the total disintegration of this country called Nigeria. Thank God the USA have made their stand known. What are we waiting for? Share this video. If you get value for what you just watched, please do well to share the video. Touch a hand for subscribe button, like and turn on the notification bell, so that whenever we upload a new video like this, you'll be the first person to be notified. And in doing that, you encourage them to do more, because togetherness we shall save life together. Africa life matters. Don't play with your life. Till next time, see you in my next video. Bye for now. Thank you.